Hey guys, so we're doing the Pally video now, and with us we have our guest star, JTB. You guys might all know him. So, of course, he's one of the best Pallies in the game, so we felt like this would be... So, he's gonna help us get through this one, because none of us are real Pallies.
Yep, that's... Wait, I'm a real Pally-ish.
Low-key. More on the DPS side.
DPS side only.
Okay,
Can't be a tank Pally.
So some few things about Pallies to just cover the basics. So we all know we consider them to be tanks, and that was the case before before 4th ring was released. They were considered to be tanks and basically there to take aggro and everything, but 4th ring completely changed that. Now they're able to damage, tank, and do other things. So some of the best skills to have as a Pally are basically from the 4th ring. So if we go to our skills, we have Dual Sword, which is 120 damage and it hits twice, and it scales based on your combined attack and def stats. So that's why this clearly made Pally like better at doing damage, because it scales with defense also. Another skill from the 4th ring is Divine Smash. Same concept, it uses attack and defense stats. It's weaker, but it also has a chance to blind, so it can come very clutch when you need it. Charisma. This right here is amazing for GB. Like, this, if you're doing Pally in GB, this is one of the main reasons why most people run Pally in GB, is for charisma. So it has a chance to give no damage. That chance is very low. That's not the main reason. It's just an additional cheer basically to fill up your unison. And so, sometimes in runs I carry EE and attack stance. These are pretty good. EE definitely, because you want to make the runs faster, and since you're already a tank, you can tank well enough so that EE helps in getting more of your skills out. Attack stance helps a lot too, because it drops your defense, but it increases your ability power, so all your skills do more damage. And since you're already a tank, lowering your defense won't affect you that much. So those are the basic skills from the fourth ring. So how do you go about making the Pally class? As you guys know, swords and axes are the weapons of choice, and helmet and armor are the next main thing. Actually, it would probably be the main thing, and then it would be swords and axes.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm gonna cover the DPS Pally because there's no way I can go the tank Pally route because of the way my cost is distributed. So what I do, I don't have enough swords either, so I use lances instead of swords, but of course swords are the best thing to use. The type of skills you want to look towards when you're using swords or lances is Physical Testament, because that would proc all your Pally skills. Another good sword is the Fatal Testament sword. This is amazing. It's much better than Physical Testament on a Pally because a lot of damage comes from critting. And if you don't have these swords, the next best thing would be a dual sword. I don't have that. Maybe Divine Smash swords, but you want to try, if you that would be like the next tier. So like, if you want to order things, it would be Fatal Testament swords, Physical Testament swords, Physical Testament lances, dual swords, dual sword proccing swords, and Divine Smash swords. That would be the order I would go in. So in a DPS Pally, you have a really high attack and a really high defense, and your Mdef is like non-existent. So the reason for this is because, as you know, all the skills scale with attack and defense, so you want to maximize the damage. What I do is run Apollo Blessing as the main, because it not only does it increase my attack stats, but the Apollo gear in the main slots also allow me to proc more. So that helps the most for dealing the most damage. And as you can see, if you see my other things, I mostly have high defense type gear, and these are all my swords and stuff. And pets, of course, fire. That's the way to get the most out of your pets. Joan is definitely the best for damage-wise, and KFC is a good lifesaver. And Apollo for unisons. Jack to troll, I guess, but you don't want to use it because people will get mad. I think that covers most about the DPS side. I think JTB is going to cover the tank part.
So basically for the tank, or a tankier setup for soldiers, you want to go 2-6-6-6. Now that's 2 swords or axes, 6 armors, 6 helmets, 6 monsters. With the amount of cost that's out right now, with the 6 monsters, they're not all going to be 30 cost. You're probably going to have to throw in some 25 to maybe like 28 cost, so like a Ifrit or Job or KFC or something. But the thing with tanks is you can run DPS too, but your procs are going to be horrible, even if you run Apollo Blessing, which honestly isn't like a bad idea, but yeah, tank for 2-6-6-6, it's not ideal, but I definitely see that being a thing. I actually wanted to try that, but RIP procs. Say like the best in between for being a tank and you can do like pretty good DPS with like decent procs is a 3-6-6-5 build, which is what I'm running. So 3 swords, 6 helmets, 6 armors, and 5 monsters. With this for DPS, I run Apollo's Blessing for sure. Like it helps so much with DPS like crazy. And oh yeah, to go back to the dual sword, I don't think there's a weapon that procs dual sword. Not that I can think of. Can you think of a weapon that procs dual sword?
I can't think of one either.
Honestly,
I don't think there is one.
Yeah, I think it's just Divine
Way
Smash.
too OP. Yeah. Testament, honestly, like that's the proc for duels. Because if you proc double physical testament on a dual sword, GG RIP all day. All day. And but yeah, you can also run a pretty tanky setup with a 3-6-6-5 build as well. Yeah, you are missing out on maybe another water monster to make yourself a bit more tanky on the M defense side, but that is definitely not a problem. Maybe you can throw in like a clothing or a hat for a little bit more M defense, but that's definitely not even a problem. Another way you can go DPS is 5-6-6-2. So that's 5 swords or axes, 6 helmets, 6 armors, and 2 monsters. Now that's like really that's like a tanky DPS. Like it's a bit much, honestly. Like yeah, your procs are gonna be really good, but for GVG you're gonna be really limited on monsters, like really limited. So that's definitely not absolute. And when it comes to tanks in GVG, usually they're gonna be support. So they're gonna be carrying things like Knight's Devotion, Knight's Loyalty, Barrier, Heaven's Breath, Charisma, Cheer, and Vanquish. Now I say Vanquish, that's like a move that no one uses and that no one really touches, but believe that it's the most game-changing move for sure. I ran Vanquish on P.E.K.K.A, and I have a Neza sword and that procs Vanquish. And if you proc, that's -5 for attack and magic attack. So it's pretty nasty.
Yeah, that's OP.
And also, yeah, it's so OP. And plus it procs with or not procs, but combos with Divine Smash. So if you use Divine Smash then Vanquish, like even if you don't proc, that's -2 on both attack parameters or whatever. So yeah, but the only 2 weapons in the game that proc Vanquish are the RGB sword, the 29 cost one, and the Neza sword. But yeah, pretty much that's it in terms of the soldier class. It really varies. You can do so much with it. It's actually like pretty fun and like it's a really good class to play on. My favorite personally.
On to questions, perhaps?
Yeah, I guess we covered every, like, the actual, like, stuff, right? Is there anything we left out? Oh yeah, the new event, the Crimson Vixen, really good to farm if you're going Pally.
Oh, for sure. For sure. That 34 class monster. Oh my, but I think one thing we should talk about is a lot of people who are archers go so. I mean, this has nothing to do with the actual class, but a lot of people go soldier for what is that? Mobius, right?
Mobius.
Like a lot of archers go soldier because they're so. All right, if you're a soldier and you're going into quests, oh my, please like be strapped and go with the appropriate like AP that you're supposed to be running, because like there's some soldiers out there that have no DPS trying to do the most. That is no fun for nobody.
Yes. So in quest, definitely bring EE. If you're any class, just bring EE. Except if you're a cleric, just bring EE, please.
Please.
Yeah, I guess that's it. And then any questions people want to ask? Leoj? Leoj, come back. We need your questions.
Let's see. What are good armors to wear for a Pally?
Reflect all day, every day. Valk armors, solar armors, like the New Year's Eve spawn? Well, not New Year's Eve, but like the New Year
anniversary?
No, yeah,
the New Year's one.
The
New Year's one. Oh my lord, yeah, those are pretty good. In terms of like balanced stats, well, I would say the solar ones or whatever, the New Year's. But if you want to just like run a whole bunch of defense, or maybe even mix it up with a little bit more end defense, you can go with the Valk armors, because those are really good too, because they proc Reflect XL. And Reflect XL is the best prop in the game, hands down.
Any other questions, you guys?
Leoj, you had 2 questions, right?
Oh, yeah, I do have 2 questions. Well, it's for soldiers. I don't know if this, because some people have like different cost distribution, right? Because I know one of the top Pallies are Fujin, and I believe he has 6 swords, 6 helmets, 6 armors, and like 3. I believe it's either it's Fujin or it's Enzyme. But what do you guys? What's the most preferable cost distribution?
Optimal.
Oh yeah, optimal. There you go.
That's hard. It honestly depends on what you want to do. Like, that's literally with anything, but like with the soldier class, because you can do so much, I feel it's all like, what is your goal, like in GBG? What are you trying to do? Like, with any of these, you could pretty much be a cleric. I would say the worst one to be a cleric with is like the 2666 or 2665 build, because you'll just have horrible procs for heals. But I'd say anywhere from, like, you said he had 6 swords, 5 swords or something?
6, yeah. It's like mostly 5 or 6 swords.
5 or 6 swords? Yeah, that'd be like a pretty tanky, really powerful heals cleric. So anywhere from like 3 to 5 or 6 swords. And of course, helmets and armors and stuff. Like, you want those to be 6/6 as well. Pally? Eating meatballs all day. Especially if you have some collect armor and you have like a barrier on you and then you guard. Oh my lord. It's so disgusting. But nah, yeah, that's pretty much it, yeah.
Last question. Well, last question for me. I don't know if someone wants. You guys only use at least attack and defense, right? Physical attack and physical defense.
Yeah.
So, what's the most usable pet, I guess, or the most utility that you guys can use?
Utility always, it would probably be Joan, KFC, anything fire that like gives buff, fire valve. Because all of that goes towards your DPS, of course. Also, the soldier class is definitely more of an end game class. Like that's like the biggest thing with people is like building up the soldier class from level 1 to whatever 110 is definitely going to be rough in the beginning levels because you get most of your DPS out of the 4th ring classes, which you wouldn't get towards like your later levels, and it's the most expensive because armors and helmets spawning those is no joke. No joke.
Jesus.
Alright.
Like clothing and just armors is just really hard to find.
Yeah, especially if that's like most of your DPS or tankiness is coming from. Expensive.
JTB, invite them into your channel.
You guys have more
Invite them to your channel.
Was it youtube.com/JTB Unison X. You already know where to find me. What's good?
But thank you, JTB, for being in our video.
So, yeah, I'm gonna be making videos real soon.
If you guys have more questions, please leave comments below, and we'll try to answer it. And you can always comment on JTB's channel, I guess, too, and he'll answer it too.
Please do.
Comment, like, and subscribe.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Yay.